A new TV series is about to come out on Peacock, and this one it will be quite different from the rest because a paradise will turn into a nightmare. There will be drama and also mystery, but humor too. And today I am so glad to speak with one of the main actresses, Carla Gugino. Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you doing?
I feel so great. I'm so happy. Yesterday, I just saw the trailer of this series called Leopard Skin, by the way. And I gotta say, it was quite intriguing, but also interesting. What can you tell us about
Yes. Well, what's nice in a way is that the trailer will never be able to show you where this show goes,
it?
which is cool. It's a dark comedy thriller. Sebastian Gutierrez definitely has a way of creating a world in which you have no idea what can happen. Anything is possible. And in this case, it follows two women who are ultimately basically my Alba Fontana, my character, is a documentarian. She's been divorced and her husband has recently remarried a younger woman played by Heita Janssen. And these two women find themselves in the house together. And there are dinner guests that come, and there are also diamond thieves who find their way to the house. What's nice about this is it's not an action show. There's action in it, but it's actually much more filled with tension and humor and this sense of all of these people finding themselves in this house and all of the secrets coming out.
I saw that you say that this role was quite different from the other ones you have played before. Can you tell us in which sense was different?
Absolutely. Well, Alba is sort of living in between two worlds, the life that she had and the life that she knew. And this sort of, there's a lot of magic realism here too. So you feel because of the location, there's a dreamscape. It feels sort of almost like a dream. And I think Alba is in between these two chapters and is in a place now where her life may go in a very different direction. And she never could have imagined that. So in that way, it was interesting to play someone who is searching and is in a moment of discovery, of self-discovery. In this moment in someone's life, that is such a wonderful and fun thing to play. Without giving anything away, it was a very different than any character I've ever gotten to play.
What is the relation between Betty and Alba?
Betty and Alba come upon each other in a very surprising moment when Alba comes home to her house and Batty is there, and Batty considers it now her house. And so a relationship that starts with what you might think would be a traditional, ex-wife and new wife scenario ends up going much, much deeper than that. And in a strange way, they see in each other more of themselves than they've ever seen in their lives. All of these women, including Ana de la Reguera's character, are dealing with this now deceased, but this specter of this very important man in their life. And who are they now without that man in their life? And how will they break free for themselves? And I think that, certainly in the last 3 years, we've all ended up looking at our lives in different ways. And as art always reflects life, I think that there's something really interesting about the exploration of identity.
Yeah.
And that we have these notions of who we are. And when a lot of those trappings, a lot of the things around you fall away, you are forced to look at who you now, which might be very different than you were before. And I think that we've all been on this train where we never sort of got off, in living in life. And all of a sudden that train stopped in terms of the pandemic and all of these things. And it has made us look inward. And so one of the reasons that Sebastian Gutierrez wanted to write this was to go and find a place where there was a certain kind of stillness that we could make a piece that dealt with dream life. And certainly, it takes place as you saw in Mexico on a deserted beach. And so I think these two women, they haven't had an outside eye looking at them. And so what comes from that is surprising.
Yes, and the series is mostly played by women. There are more women characters than men, and that's so great to know. So we knew this series takes place in Mexico, but you film in República Dominicana. How was the experience while being there? Was it peaceful?
It was extraordinary. I mean, none of us wanted to leave. There was a
Yeah.
rainbow every morning that you would wake up to. We were able to walk barefoot from one part of where we were living to where we were working. Get your feet in the sand every day. There were things that I didn't understand about this character, which is always the case until I'm playing a character. You have so many questions, and the answers really come in the process of playing it, the process of actually making the movie or the television show. But this was particularly amazing because the second I landed there and got to our location, I understood Alba in a different way. To choose to live in a place that's remote like that is an interesting choice. And certainly nature informs so much of the show visually as well. But our hosts in the Dominican Republic were extraordinary, and the whole experience was really exceptional.
I knew you are one of the producers of this show called Leopard Skin. What is it called, Leopard Skin?
Well,
Yeah.
the question of, can leopards change their spots?
You are so dressed as a leopard, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not a coincidence. Yeah, no, the saying, about, leopards can't change their spots. The question is,
Ah.
or can they? So it was certainly, it was out of the mind of Gutierrez. It really did become, again, thematically something that was Philip Winchester's character and Amelia Eve's characters. They also are having this moment as a couple where they're realizing their true natures are coming out, and will they be able to sustain with each other or not? And the criminals are also going through questioning whether they can trust any of themselves. So
Yeah.
I think that those are all sort of metaphors for the leopard and the spots.
Metaphorical meaning behind all of that. It's
For
so
sure.
profound and so unique. And what kind of elements are we going to find out as an audience so we can get hooked to this show?
Well, I think that what's interesting is that it's hard to compare this to any other TV show. I've really been trying. And I think that the exciting thing about it is this is much more like a story within a story where anything is possible. And so it is much more like the
Matroshkas.
Exactly. So in that way, what is interesting is I think this show is very much for couples too, because there are elements of it that have, certainly thriller action elements, but the piece is fundamentally character driven. Nobody is backing away from what they want or what they need. And even if they don't understand why they want what they want, in this compact 4 hours, you kind of can't believe how much happens. And anytime you think it's going in one direction, it's going in another. And that's one of the most exciting things to me about this piece, is kind of like the psyche. It's very unpredictable, but there is order to all of it.
Oh my God. Yeah. And it will be also like reading a book, because there's so many layers in this story.
For sure. Yes.
And that's so good to notice magic realism, and also all these scenes means not only what we see on screen, but also many other things. So another question that I have for you, what is the main question or the particular thing or mystery that has to be solved going through all the story for all the characters?
For sure, there's male female dynamics at play, and you're looking at conventions and sort of how they're starting to break down. In terms of mystery, we just start to understand how all of these people know each other and how they got to this place, and how in some way they were fated to be here, and their lives will be forever different after that.
Carla, we thank you so much for having us in this interesting conversation about Leopard Skin. By the way, it's series coming out on November 17th, and we'll have 8 episodes of half an hour each one, right?
Exactly.
So we wish you the best in the next projects come, and we send you a big hug to the distance.
Thank you so much.
You are.
Right back at you.